Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today we have a pretty exciting video. So Vaxi sent me out some of their products to try out for a review. They sent their Vaxi XE, the Vaxi NP-01s, and they also sent out two mouse pads. The first one being the Vaxi PA, just the black one, the regular one. And then they also sent out the Zegan PA. So I'm pretty excited to try these out. There's not really going to be an unboxing experience because the boxes are very simple. I'll show you right now. It's just a very simple box. You just open it up, slide it out, and everything is in there. Let's talk about what you get, right? So in the box, you get the mouse, obviously. This is the XE box. So you get the mouse itself, you get a USB-C cable, and then obviously you get the dongle. This is what the dongle looks like right here. There you go. That's what the dongle looks like. That's all you get in the box. But that's good. I like that they're keeping it simple. So, like I said, these were sent out for review by Vaxi, but as always, that does not affect my opinion of the products at all. But I will say, I'm going to sound like a complete Vaxi shill for this entire video because I already know that these are going to be my endgame mice, and I'm also going to use their mouse pad as well. So I already know that this is going to be my endgame, so that might make me a little bit biased, but these are honestly insane mice. Like, they are so good. And I'll go over pretty much my experience with them in a second here. I also want to say I'm going to be making a dedicated review for all 4 of these products. I'll probably make a dedicated review for the mice separately, and then the 2 mouse pads I'll review together in one video. But this video right here is just going to be a quick overview of all 4 of these products and my thoughts on them. So I have my G Pro Superlight 2 here, which has been my main mouse for pretty much ever since it got released like a month ago. So I've been using the G Pro Superlight 2 for around a month, but I've been using the G Pro Superlight, like just the shape, for like 3 years now. I am pretty familiar with the G Pro Superlight, and it's been pretty much my main mouse for the past 3 or 4 years, going back to the original G Pro wireless. So real quick, let's talk about the price. The price for both of these mice is $120 USD. The weight on the Vaxi XE, let me just pull it up so I don't get it wrong. The XE weighs 76 grams. The NP-01s weighs around 69 grams, and then the G Pro Superlight 2 weighs 60 grams. Now, the first thing you might be wondering is this weight noticeable? And the answer is yes, it is. It is noticeable. If you pick up the G Pro Superlight and then you pick up something like the Vaxi XE or even the NP-01s, you can definitely feel that weight. So the XE is going to be, what was it, like 17 or 16 grams heavier than the G Pro Superlight 2, and you definitely can feel that weight. If you lift your mouse up and you're A/B testing, you definitely can feel that 17 grams. But the thing is, when you're actually using the mouse, playing games, like actually real world using the mouse, it's very, very hard to distinguish that weight. And to be honest, that weight doesn't really make that big of a difference. I think with most gaming mice nowadays, anything under 80 grams is pretty much perfect. Anything between 60 and 80 grams is pretty much the sweet spot for me. I'm someone who doesn't really like those super lightweight mice. I actually prefer a little bit of weight on my mice. So anywhere between the 60 to 80 gram range is perfect for me. And I feel like these 2 mice fit in there super well. So weight is really not a concern for me. But if it is for you, if you're someone who really enjoys using those super lightweight mice like the Final Mice, or, you know, like the G Pro Superlight, then weight might be an issue for you. But for me, honestly, I think for most people, the weight is honestly not an issue at all. Like 76 grams and 69 grams is still considered very, very lightweight. Moving on to the clicks, I don't mind the clicks of either. The Logitech's G Pro Superlight 2 is using obviously those hybrid optical switches, and the Vaxi, I'm pretty sure, are just using regular mechanical switches. Both feel fine for me. I prefer the mechanical switches just a little bit more than Logitech's optical hybrid ones, but it's really preference at the end of the day. There's pretty much no pre-travel on the Vaxi switches and a little bit of post-travel, but nothing that is like worse than Logitech. They're pretty much around the same in terms of post and pre-travel. In terms of the scroll wheel, it's pretty smooth. It's a little bit tighter than the Logitech scroll wheel, which I really don't mind. And then the mouse 3 click is around the same tightness, really the same amount of force to actuate. The side buttons though are definitely way better than Logitech's on the Vaxi mice. The Vaxi mice, the side buttons are spectacular. Very, very crispy. Pretty much no post or pre-travel on these side buttons here. One thing I do want to mention is if you're buying the NP-01s, on the bottom there's going to be blue film on the skates that you need to take off. I forgot which reviewer it was, but there was a reviewer, I think it was actually Linus Tech Tips, who didn't take the blue peel off of the skates, and they like compared it in a glide test to other mice, and they said the Vaxi was dog shit, but in reality they just didn't take off the skates, and then there was like Twitter beef over it, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, if you're getting this mouse, make sure you take off that blue film on the skates on the bottom. Yeah, so I updated both of these mice to the latest firmware. One thing to note is that there is no software for the Vaxi mice, so everything is done on board the mouse. I downloaded the software update, updated both of these to the latest software, but to change the settings on the mouse, you actually do it through the buttons on the bottom, which does take a little bit to learn. I had to watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos, but after you get it down, it's pretty simple. So I'll run you guys through it really quick, give you guys an example of what you need to do here. So let's say, for example, I wanted to change from standard mode to competitive mode, which standard mode, you have more battery life, but the latency is a little bit higher. Competitive mode, I think you get cut down. So standard mode, I think you have like 90 hours battery life, compared to the competitive mode at 55 hours, but the competitive mode is going to give you a little bit lower latency. So let's say I wanted to switch between the two, I would have to turn off the mouse, and then I would have to hold down the this button right here on the right, and then flip on the mouse while I have that button held down, and then let go. And then you can see it's flashing the 4, which means I'm now on standard mode. And then if I wanted to switch to competitive mode, I would do the exact same thing, turn the mouse off, hold it down, turn the mouse on, let go. And then it flashes all 3, which means I'm now on competitive mode. So that's pretty much how you change between standard mode, competitive mode. Also, that's how you change, that's how you turn off motion sync. And then if you want to change the DPI, it's just on the left here is your DPI button. You can change cycle between the different colors. Red is 400, purple here, it doesn't look purple on camera, but purple is 800. And then I believe blue 1600, green 3200, and then it goes back to 400 on red. So I like to keep mine on 800 DPI. And then in the middle, you can change your polling rate, which both these mice are max 1000 Hertz, which is completely fine with me. I don't really care for high polling rate mice, even though that's like what's in trend now. Like for example, the G Pro Superlight 2 is 2K Hertz, but honestly, I really don't notice the polling rate upgrade. So I haven't tried 4K yet, but honestly, it's negligible. 1000 Hertz is completely fine for me. And then on the right is your debounce, which I keep at 2. So that's pretty much that for all of the settings. There's no software whatsoever. Everything is on board, which is perfect if you're bringing this around to a lot of LAN environments or you're just moving setups a lot. This is perfect for any pro players. Okay, let's get into the shape. As people say, shape is king, right? So let's get into the shape of these 3 mice and which one I prefer the most. So my hands, for reference, are around 19 centimeters long by 10 centimeters width. So I would say I have around medium-sized hands. And the G Pro Superlight shape is always a safe shape, but I've never been like a super fan of it. Like this has never been a mouse that fits my hand like a glove. And I wouldn't say that the G Pro Superlight shape is something that's super comfortable for me. Like it's decent, it's a decent shape, and Logitech went the safe route by going with a shape that pretty much works for most people. You pretty much have a potato shape. It's pretty much just a potato, and it's fine. It's usable. Like my aim has been good on the G Pro Superlight, but the Vaxi XE, I've read people talking about it, and I've read how people say that it's just an upgraded G Pro Superlight in terms of the shape. You can see the difference here. Let me see if I can get the angle right. So you can see on the Logitech, the curve is like pretty uniform throughout the mouse, right? It kind of peaks in the middle, like the hump kind of peaks in the middle, and it's pretty uniform throughout the mouse. Whereas with the XE, it's more slanted down towards the front, and then the hump is towards the back a little bit more. So the hump is a little bit more aggressive towards the back on the XE, and that makes a huge difference. You can also see from the top, the XE sides are a little bit curved in, so it's more comfortable for your fingers to actually rest. You can actually see it better from the bottom here. There you go. That's a better comparison right there. The XE is pretty much just an improved G Pro Superlight shape. It's pretty much just an improved G Pro in terms of the shape. Much more comfortable. I feel like the back of my palm here has a lot more support because the hump is towards the back more. So I get a lot more contact. I claw grip my mouse, by the way. If you guys are curious, this is how I grip my mouse, just a typical claw grip. So yeah, the back of my palm hits the mouse a lot more. And then the grooves on the side, like I mentioned, and there's also grooves on mouse 1 and mouse 2 as well. Those grooves make it a lot more comfortable in the hand. These two mice are roughly the same size, by the way. Like, I would consider both of these medium-sized mice, and they're both very similar in terms of width and length, but just the way that the XE curves is a lot more comfortable in my hand. So honestly, if I was recommending a mouse, I would actually go for the XE in terms of shape. It's much more comfortable. The clicks are better than the G Pro. The only thing that the G Pro Superlight has that's better than the XE is obviously lighter weight and a higher pulling rate, if you're into that. Those are the only two things. Everything else, the XE does better than the G Pro Superlight, including the skates, obviously. Like, look at the skates on the G Pro Superlight. Terrible, right? Very scratchy. Stock skates on the G Pros have never been good. And on the Superlight 2, they're also not good. So skates on both of the XEs out of the box, nothing wrong with them, no scratch whatsoever. There's really, I feel like there's no need to switch to aftermarket skates on any of the Vaxi mice. Like I said, I sound like a complete Vaxi shill right now, but honestly, these mice are incredible, especially for the price. So this is even cheaper than the G Pro. G Pro retails for $150 USD, I believe, and then the Vaxi retails for $120 USD. So not only is it cheaper, but it's pretty much better in every way than the G Pro. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the XE. It's an improved G Pro Superlight, or it's an improved G Pro shape, basically. So if you're looking for a G Pro, maybe consider the XE, just because the shape is a lot more comfortable and it does the skates better, the clicks are better, no software required. I mean, honestly, it's just an improved G Pro. So that's my thoughts on the XE. Moving on to the NP-01s. This is going to be my Endgame main mouse from now on. I'm not choosing the XE, and the reason being, I mean, this is a solid mouse. I would go for this easily, but I actually prefer the NP-01s more than the XE, because this is like sort of like a hybrid shape, right? So XE, you have a symmetrical shape. NP-01s is a very unique sort of hybrid shape. You have the right side of the mouse, if you're looking from the top down, the right side of the mouse is sort of an ergonomical shape. But like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain this shape. Look at it. It's like a pear, right? So the top is symmetrical, but then when you come down to the bottom, it does this thing where it curves to the left. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a Zowie S2 kind of meets like a EC, like a Zowie EC shape. You know, like the top half is symmetrical and then the bottom half is ergonomical. It is just absolutely incredible. Pretty much everything else is the same as the XE, the clicks, the side buttons, pretty much identical. Just the shape is different, and the shape is just honestly goated. I am in love with this shape. It feels a lot smaller in the hand than it looks on camera, right? It looks around the same size as the XE on camera, but when you have it in your hand, it feels a lot smaller, and it feels like you can just be so much more precise with it. Something about this shape is just so good. So this is definitely going to be my main mouse from now on. I am officially retiring the G Pro, and I am switching to the NP-01s. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention is if you want to check your settings for both of these mice really quick, all you need to do is hold down both side buttons and press the mouse 3. Both side buttons down, press mouse 3. You can see on the bottom it lights up, tells you all of your settings. So blue, DPI button to blue, meaning I have motion sync off. On the middle, it's on 125, meaning I'm on the lowest liftoff distance. And then all three lights on, mean I'm on competitive mode. And then obviously I'm on 800 DPI, 1000 Hertz polling rate, and 2 millisecond debounce. I mean, there's really not much else to say. This is going to be my main mouse from now on. And I'll give you guys any updates if there's anything wrong with it, but this seems like the perfect endgame mouse for me. And like I said, I'm going to be making separate reviews for the XE and the NP-01s, so keep an eye out for those. This is just a quick overview of both these mouse. Not even quick, this video is going on for almost 20 minutes now, so I'm going to try to wrap it up by ending with the mouse pads, because I haven't talked about the mouse pads yet. I haven't actually even tried the mouse pads yet, if I'm being honest with you, but I'll try them right now. So this is the Vaxi PA. I have on my desk the Zowie GSR2 that I've been testing because they sent it out to me, and so I've just been testing out the GSR2. Let me take the GSR2 off my table and let me plop this bad boy on here. So first things first, there's no stitched edges. So if you're concerned about durability, that might be something to keep in mind, is that there's no stitched edges on the Vaxi PA. But I will say the grip on the table is a lot better than the GSR2. If you guys remember in my GSR2 review video, which I'll leave in the description below, their mousepad would slide all over my desk even if I nudged it a little bit. With the Vaxi PA, it doesn't seem to be an issue. Grips very well to my desk. Let's talk about the glide. I'm not gonna lie, this is a control pad, by the way. This is a control pad. Feels very similar to the GSR2. I've heard that's what people said as well. I've read comments on this mousepad on Reddit, as well as some of my viewers and friends who have this mousepad have told me that it's very comparable to a GSR. And now that I have it in hand and I'm using it, I can agree. It's pretty much a Zowie GSR in terms of feeling. It's just a control pad. Let me see here. Let me do some A/B testing, right? So on the left, we have the GSR2. On the right, we have the Vaxi PA. I mean, these are pretty much identical mousepads. I'm not even gonna lie to you. These mousepads are literally identical in terms of glide. Like, actually just identical. How about the PA Zegan? Let me see if the Zegan is any different. Here it is. Nice design, looks very nice. Oh. Nope. It feels the same to me. It honestly feels the same to me. I think the Zegan is like the same mousepad with just a design on it. Let me check actually. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think these are both the exact same mousepad. It's just one is black and the other one has a design on it. Glide feel is completely the same. I looked at the specs on the website and they're made out of the same material, same thickness, no stitch edges on this one as well. So I'm pretty sure these are just the exact same mousepad. What can I say? I mean, it just feels good. Both these mousepads feel incredible to use. They feel exactly like a Zowie GSR2, and the GSR2 has been solid so far. So you can't go wrong with any of these mousepads, to be honest with you. I think that's a good spot to wrap up this video. Final thoughts on all three of these mice. I mean, just incredible. NP-01s is going to be my endgame mouse. The Vaxi XE is a superior alternative, in my opinion, to the Superlight shape. Again, only thing Superlight has on the XE is the less weight and higher polling rate and optical switches, I guess, but I don't really like the feel of the optical switches. I prefer the mechanical switches on the XE, so that's really just preference. Yeah, I would take the XE shape over the G Pro shape any day of the week. It is just, I really don't know how to explain it. You really just have to experience it for yourself. It is just so much more comfortable. And the coating is great too, by the way. I forgot to mention the coating on both these mice. Very, very grippy. I have like semi-moist hands pretty much most of the time, and these grip insanely well. But at the end of the day, my go-to is going to be the NP-01s because of the shape. It's very hard to explain, but this is just like such a goated shape for me for claw grip. So yeah, that's it. Those are my thoughts. Shout out to Vaxi for sending these out. And if you want to check any of these mice out, I'll leave a link to those in the description below. Keep an eye out for the dedicated reviews because that's going to be coming out too. But that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.